Friends, hello and welcome to the YouTube channel Tech Guru Speaks. Today I would like to describe one of the important classes of the Java Collections framework, and that is called the ArrayList class. So first I will discuss the basic features of this class. Java.util.arraylist is implemented from the list interface, and it's a resizable array. As more elements are added to ArrayList, its size is increased dynamically. Its elements can be accessed directly by using the get and the set methods, since ArrayList is essentially an array. So ArrayList is the implementation of the list interface, and it is used as a say growable dynamic array. So ArrayList is basically conceptually equivalent to vector because both of them are implementing the list interface, except that ArrayList is not synchronized. That means ArrayList is not thread safe. So ArrayList is a better choice if the program is itself thread safe. Vector and ArrayList require more space as more elements are added onto them one by one. Vector each time doubles its array size, while ArrayList grows 50% of its size each time. Now we'll discuss the difference between the ArrayList and vector. So if we look at the ArrayList and vector, conceptually they are equivalent because both of them are the resizable array implementation of the list interface. So if we look at the signature of both the classes, we can see that they are same. So they are same with respect to their signatures. Like public class ArrayList, it supports generics. Vector also support generics. Extends abstract list, it is also extends abstract list. Implements list, it also implements list, random access clonable, and serializable interfaces. So that means ArrayList and vector are having the same list of parents. I mean to say, in terms of the superclass abstract list and the four super interfaces like list, random access, clonable, and serializable. So these are the same, but the difference is that ArrayList is not synchronized. That means it is not thread safe, while the vector class is synchronized and it is thread safe. So that is the difference between ArrayList and vector class. Now we are going to implement the concept of ArrayList using the NetBeans IDE, which is one of the most popular IDEs for Java program development. So I will use the NetBeans IDE 12.1 for demonstrating the concept of the ArrayList class. So let's see what happens in terms of programming implementation. That is the thing we are going to see. So first, the program that I will write here is called ArrayList demo.java. Now I am having the main method inside it because without main method it will not be able to work. So first I will create the ArrayList object. So it is the name of the class that is called ArrayList. So it needs to be imported here because it was not imported earlier. So suppose it is called uh, ArrayList. Say suppose we are going to create an ArrayList and it is of type integer, like it is using the concept of generics. So ArrayList AL. Next comes the constructor. So it can use the diamond operator because if I write integer here, that can be assumed automatically by the compiler. So no need to write it again in the same line while the ArrayList objects are being created. So just have a look here with respect to the actually the different constructors of the ArrayList class. So we can have a no argument ArrayList constructor. We can provide here an initial capacity like the vector class, because I have shown you the 4 different overloaded constructor of the vector class. So that is also available here. So here I am using the third one, that is using this as the, that means a collection object can be passed here as an argument. Now I am going to use this in my program. So instead of using the first one, that is the no argument constructor or the constructor with the initial capacity value, I am actually concentrating on this one, that is actually having a list containing the elements of the specified collection. So I am going to use this. So in order to use this, first I will create a integer array here. So suppose this is the integer array. So now I am going to have some elements in this array, say 30, 50, 60, 90, 70, say 5 elements are created here. Now I am going to use these as the, say for example, the third constructor of the array list. So now I will be taking help from the arrays class. So arrays dot, so if I write here arrays, so it will be asking for importing this particular class because it is not imported. So now it is imported, that you can see here. So if I write here arrays dot as list, so that is basically available here. Now instead of writing args here, I am actually using here, so this particular, say array. So now I have created an array list from a given collection that you can see here. Okay, so that is a third constructor of the array list. Okay, so now I am going to show you the contents of this array list. So array list, so that will be denoted by this array list object reference, that is called AL. Now we are going to see the size also, that means the size of the array list. So size will also be shown here by using the method called size. So al dot size, that will be shown here. So now I am going to run this small program for you, though it will be modified a little bit later. So you can see it here. So array list, it is having basically 5 elements, 30, 50, 60, 90, 70. Basically initially we have taken an integer array. Now we have passed this as an argument to the array list class constructor. So arrays dot as list, this particular method has been used to pass this array. So in that sense, it will be acting like a collection to be passed as the argument to the array list class constructor. So in that way, this array list object has been created and it is denoted by this object reference al. Okay, so it is the size, and that is al dot size, that is 5 actually, and this is the representation of the array list. This is the present status of the array list that you can see here. So now I am going to use here a method that is called actually ensure capacity, because there is no method like capacity in the array list class like vector. So now I am going to use this particular method called ensure capacity to ensure certain capacity for this particular. So you can see it here. So what is the meaning of this particular method? That is ensure capacity within bracket int minimum capacity. So it increases the capacity of this array list instance, that means the object, if necessary, to ensure that it can hold at least the number of elements specified by the minimum capacity argument. Suppose we are now using here the value as 50, so there will be enough elements to be inserted here. So that is the idea that I have used here. So that is the ensure capacity method being used here, since there is no capacity method to know the current capacity value of this particular array list object. Okay, so that is why you have used the ensure capacity value. So that is the idea. So it is basically ensuring that it can hold at least the number of elements specified by the minimum capacity argument, that is the value 50. Okay, so that is the idea. So I am using this because there is no capacity method like vector in the array list. So that will ensure the uh, minimum capacity value that can be accommodated with respect to this array list object. No capacity method, so like vector, but it is having ensure capacity. So now I am going to add more elements onto it, so that I'll be now doing. So suppose now I am adding here L, the element 80 will be added here now. Suppose now I am writing here 80, so these elements will now be added. So there is another, say, overloaded version of the add method. So if I write here, so you can see it, there is another version of the overloaded version of the, so this particular add method. Suppose I am adding here the element 20 at the index number 2 position, so that is done here. So now I am going to see the present status of the array list, so that will be now used here in my program. So just run the program for the second time. So it will be showing the present status, like at the second position 20 is added here and 80 was added earlier at the end position, that is add means it is actually doing the append operation. So now I am going to use the sort operation that will sort all the elements in this particular array list by using the class that is called collections. So collections is basically coming from the, so collections, it is not added yet, so it should be imported here. So collections, so that is added here. So collections dot sort method that now I am going to use here. So it will sort all the elements in the array list. Okay, so it will sort the elements in array list, so that you can see here. So now if I write this SOP statement here, so that will show you the sorted array list. So by using collections class, which is coming from java.util package, the same package in which array list and vector resides. So I can run this program now. So it will show you that the elements of the array list class and class object are now sorted. So it was the status before applying this particular operation, that is the sort method of the collections class. So it is now sorted, like you can see a sorted sequence of elements here, 20, 30, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. So all the elements, all the 7 elements are now sorted with respect to this array list. So now we are going to, I mean to say array list object. Now we are going to use the enumeration and the iterator, so that we can access the elements from beginning to the end. So similar kind of operation we have performed with respect to Java vector class as well. So now we are going to enumerate, that means we are going to enumerate the elements in the array list. So that we are going to do now. So for that we need the collections class again. So enumeration that we need here, so that is made available here. So it is imported here, that you can see. So enumeration, suppose we are writing an en, that is the reference. Now I am writing here the collections class that is already been imported here. So dot, so we are now going to use the method called enumeration. So this one will be used here. So now I am having a SOP, that means this SOP can be used here. So it is showing the array list elements here. So just this part is not required here. So array list elements. So after that we are going to use a while loop here. So while, say within bracket, I am using this en dot has more elements. So it's a boolean valued method. So if there are more elements, it will be returning true, otherwise it will return false. So it is basically showing the elements one by one by using the method called, say, next elements, that you have already seen with respect to the java.util.vector class. Now I am going to run this program. So you can see that by using this enumeration interface, I have been able to access all the elements of the array list from the beginning to the end, that is shown over here. So all the elements are now accessed from beginning to the end. So that is the present status of the array lists after performing the sort operation here that I have performed here. So now I am going to use the iterator to access the elements. So just I am changing the statements one by one. So iterate through the elements in the array list, or the elements of the array list. So it will be now using iterator. So iterator, this one, so it should be imported here because it was not imported earlier. So now I will be writing here, say l dot iterator. So now the methods are also different. So it will be, the concept is similar, but the method names are different basically. So because these are different interfaces, enumeration and iterator. So the difference between enumeration and iterator is that you can not remove any element from the enumeration, but you can remove any element from the iterator. So that is a extra facility that is being provided in the iterator interface. So now I am using the hasNext method. So it is checking whether these array list elements after being stored in the iterator, that is empty or non-empty. If it is non-empty, so it can be able to access different elements in it. So now I am going to use the, say, next method. So like the next element method in the enumeration. So in that way, now I can use this particular technique with iterator to iterate through the elements of the array list. So that I have been able to do successfully, that you can see here. Now I am going to show you a different kind of technique so that I can be able to access elements by using an array. So first I have taken an integer array here. So it's a different array. So now I am so it is having some size. So that is provided by the size of the array list. So the array has been declared and it has been instantiated. So now I am going to populate the elements in the integer array denoted by ARR. So there is a method called toArray. So in that way, sorry, it should be getting passed here as an argument, so it should not be written. So that means the process is done here. So now I am going to access them one by one, say by using the enhanced for loop. Suppose I am going to use the enhanced for loop here. Suppose it is uh, using the enhanced for loop. So it will be collecting the elements one by one, starting to end. So from starting to the end, it will be accessing all the elements one by one. So now I'm going to run this program again. So you can see that by using this technique, I have been able to access the elements. So by using an array, so that is the technique. So now I am going to access the array list elements by using lambda expression. So it is actually using the for each method. So now I am going to write this. So there is a method called for each. So now I'll be using this method to access the elements of the array list one by one. So here I can use the lambda expression. So now I am writing here, suppose it is E. So E denoted by, that means, so that is the rule that I am going to write. So it is implying the rule. Okay, so now I am going to write this rule. Suppose I am thinking of writing them in the same line. So I am not going to use here system.out.println. Instead I will be using system.out.print like the earlier cases. So now I will be writing here E plus this particular technique. So that is using the for each concept. So that is made available with respect to the array list. So now, so it is basically the use of the lambda expression that I have been able to do here. So let's run the program. So here you can see that I have been able to successfully access the elements by using this technique, that is a for each. So using the lambda expression. So I hope that you have understood. So what is the role of array list in the java.util package, that means in the Java collections framework. So it is basically a generic dynamic array, and it is basically the implementation of the list interface like the vector class, but this is not thread safe, unlike vector, which is basically thread safe. But array list is not thread safe, it is thread unsafe, better to say. That means it is not synchronized at all, and it is not having the capacity method like vector, but it is actually having a method called ensure capacity that will be ensuring enough space for making room for new elements. So in that way it will be trying to manage space requirement for adding new elements. And so this is the technique, or this is the list of techniques that I have used here to implement the array list concept. I hope that you have understood all the concepts that I have implemented here with respect to array list objects. So thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So this is the URL of my YouTube channel. Basically I need your support to grow, and if I grow, then I will be able to create more videos that will be helpful for your career growth. So for your career growth it is important. So I'll also request you to visit my website, that is techguruspeaks.com, and this is my email ID. You can contact me via this email. So have a nice day. Thank you very much.